Hi Jepoy Vlogs here today. I recap for an American horror anthology show called The Haunting Hour. Take care and be careful. Lily Carbo is a spoiled 7-year-old who is known for throwing unnecessary tantrums if she doesn't get what she wants. As a result, her dad Henry always buys her the newest toys even though he is on a limited budget. But her mother, Jill, thinks they're giving their daughter too much freedom, which is why she's become so arrogant recently. Lily also has an older brother, Braden, who is kind but strict, and even though he thinks the little girl isn't being treated right, he can't spank because it's not the 1970s anymore. So, I'm going to guess that we'll have to kill her in the first scene. Lily should be visible restlessly hanging tight for something. It just so happens she has requested a day-to-day existence measured doll from a well-known organization called Truly You. Her father Henry has spent an incredible $1,000 on it, due to which different individuals from the family are upset, might have a PSVR 2 for that. Inevitably the conveyance at long last shows up and Lily is elated to discover that the doll closely resembles. When she sees that you are an employee, she is even happier. Says that she and the doll Sylvia can go to the salon and have their hair done. However, when the employee reveals that the salon triple cost the parents an additional $300, they are less than thrilled. However, for the sake of their daughter's happiness, the parents agree with Jill's decision to accompany the child. Making sure she has the best day possible, Lily starts acting up again when they get to the salon. She speaks rudely to her hairdresser and even directs her mother's movements. Sylvia, the doll, is unsettlingly gazing into the mirror at this time. It is apparent that something is going on with her as the days pass. Lily invests increasingly more energy with the doll. She eats, plays and even lays down with it. It alarms her family a little bit. But for the time being, they decide not to get involved because they think she will soon get tired of it when a group of friends show up at Lily's house with their own dolls. They commend Lily for her achievement and are impressed by the life-size doll. However, the arrogant brat does not take it well, and instead starts to raid her friends for cheap and useless toys. Just then, one of the friends says that Hurtle communicated with Sylvia. It appears that Sylvia does not like Lily and wants to get away from her. When Lily hears this, she becomes so enraged that she steals her friend's doll and tears it in half in the next scene. After hearing about the incident, Jill becomes enraged and storms into her daughter's room. For years, Jill had held herself back and ignored Lily's bad attitude, but now that she has had enough, she scolds Lily for being a reckless girl and takes the doll away, saying it was a poorly conceived notion to get it in any case true to form. In the meantime, Jill takes the doll to her room and stares at it creepily for no apparent reason. That day, she starts to like Sylvia and even gives her a warm hug. From that point on, the two become inseparable. Lily is enraged by the punishment and starts throwing things around. They rest, eat, and dance together. Her family finds it a piece odd, however Jill could. She has finally found a friend with whom she can empathize after years of stress. Lily asks innocently if she can have the doll back while the family is having dinner because she is finally on her way to becoming a brownie one day. After the parents have finished having dinner, Jill scolds her and brushes her aside. At this point, she has stopped caring about her own daughter. They get up and go to the other room, leaving Lily and Sylvia alone. The next moment, a loud scream is heard, and when the parents rush to look, they find that Henry's laptop has been misspelled with the word chicken gravy. Lily is the only person at the table, so it's not surprising that everyone points at her. However, she keeps insisting that, contrary to the little girl, it wasn't she who smashed the container when the creepy doll suddenly came to life. However, before grounding her for a week, that ought to teach you how to spell chicken gravy later, Jill scolds her angrily for lying. Brandon visits his younger sibling and cordially inquires as to whether she did it. When Lily attests that it was the doll, he becomes dubious and chooses to watch out for it. Henry stealthily removes the doll from his wife's grasp at midnight and moves it to Lily's room. He thinks that the little girl has already been punished enough and that it's time for her to get a friend back. But when he wakes up the following morning, Sylvia is still in his bed, so he refuses to go to sleep. Despite his confusion, Henry ignores it. Assuming that his wife brought it back one day while the parents are out, Lily tries to make peace with the doll at this point. Her attitude has completely changed, and she is no longer the arrogant child she used to be. Lily sneaks into her parents' room to find the doll, but she is surprised. She started looking around the house, but it wasn't there. In the hallway, she strangely found Sylvia's clothes. Scared, the young girl ran to tell her brother, but he was too busy playing video games. Lily goes downstairs to make herself lunch as a new means of distraction. However, as she prepares to consume it, she experiences a mild headache and falls asleep, only to be awoken by her mother a short while later, who once more reprimands her for being careless. Soon after, Jill enters a room and begins screaming. Lily slowly comes to her senses and is surprised to discover that she has paint marks all over her hands. It turns out that the words, "bad girl," have been painted on the wall. Again, despite her best efforts to claim otherwise, Lily is the obvious culprit. Brandon is the only one who is aware that his sister is innocent, despite the reprimand. As a result, he teams up with her to discover the doll's real story after they hide a camera in their parents' room, wishing they could locate the ethereal doll. Sylvia appears to be too intelligent to fall for these ploys, even though the plan works and the doll's movements are captured on camera that night. She also removes the memory card from the camera because she is aware that it is useless without it. Prior to returning to rest the following morning, Brandon really takes a look at the camera and is stunned to find that its memory card is absent. Braden tries to explain that he was doing it to record the doll, which leads to an argument between the two, but his mother only becomes enraged when he asks if she took it. She says that now that her children have started invading her privacy, and he asks if she took it. In the meantime, Lily, who is seeing everything from neighboring, unexpectedly feels a sharp aggravation in her mind and falls oblivious. Once more, burning through no time at Jill, surges her to the medical clinic to have her looked up on. In the interim, Braden and his dearest companion Steve chose to analyze Sylvia and figure out more about it. They have the impression that it is a remote-controlled motorized doll. But when they take off Sylvia's head and look inside, they find that it is completely hollow and that there are no wires or other electrical devices inside. This is scary, but Braden doesn't give up. He starts with the head and rubs it a few times to get rid of the dust because he knows that if he looks at the doll carefully, he will find a clue. He finds the words "destroyed," surprising him. This suggests that whoever created Sylvia was aware that it was dangerous because it has a doll's name written on it. Additionally, they were too lazy to commit suicide elsewhere. At the hospital, the doctor runs a few tests on Lily and finds that she is fine. The boys make the decision to investigate Sylvia's ancestry in order to gain a deeper comprehension of her condition, which she is only experiencing as a mild case of the flu, which he believes will pass in a few days back at the house. So they go to the Really You shop, where hundreds of similar dolls are braided, and Steve sneaks in behind the back door. There, they find some creepy porcelain heads until an elderly woman catches them and takes them out of the basement. She reveals that she is the creator of these dolls, Maya. The young men then, at that point, take out the image of Sylvia, and seeing this, Maya is stunned. She apprehensively makes sense of that she made the doll, yet it abruptly became had, and that is the reason she named Obliterate the doll on it. She didn't know it, but the company covered up the words and sold it to a bad customer. Which, upon learning the entire story, turned out to be Lily. Sylvia frames Lily once more by shattering a mirror, but this time a furious Jill doesn't even listen to her. Maya tells the boys to destroy the doll as soon as possible because failing to do so could result in the loss of several innocent lives back at home. Lily tries to follow her after she simply removes everything and shuts the door. However, she suddenly sinks to the ground. Her horror is heightened by the subsequent transformation of her entire body into a doll and the transformation of one of her legs into a prosthetic like Sylvia's. Lily is now unable to move at all. The fact that Sylvia has taken her place is the worst thing. Soon after the boys arrive, she has transformed into Lily, and she has noticed that Lily has completely transformed. She is now a happy girl who has miraculously developed a passion for cooking. Her parents easily buy the dolls out of deception, but Braden knows something is wrong when evil Sylvia stealthily takes Lily outside the house and puts her in the bed that night. The following morning the boys find the doll in the trash after Sylvia leaves for school. When they go back to look at it, they find that it has a strange mole that wasn't there before. Soon, Jill also arrives, and she notices the mole. She is shocked. It turns out that Lily has the same birthmark, but they never told the company about it. Jill comes to the conclusion that the girl posing as their daughter is actually an imposter as a result of this. When she says that she has been a terrible mother over the past few months, she breaks down in tears. The boys, on the other hand, begin their search for Sylvia and eventually locate her near the road. The evil doll also realizes that she has been exposed, so she begins to flee in the meantime. Jill gives her dead daughter a hug before recalling the wonderful times they had together. Sylvia, on the other hand, reverts to her doll form as the boys observe from a distance. She tries to get up, but a large vehicle suddenly runs over her. This act of affection surprises and brings Lily back to life, apparently polishing her off. However, at the episode's conclusion, we are informed that Sylvia remains alive. She is presently prepared to track down her next casualty and proceed with her rule of fear. Turn on notifications, please subscribe for more videos like this one, and like the channel to support it. I appreciate your attention.